the term offsetting your cost of Riomax can be a confusing one. How about if I explained it in this video so that you clearly understood how you could offset part or all of the daily cost of Riomax? In this video, I'm going to go through an example of how Riomax offsets its cost using very typical numbers from the industry that we're hearing this fall 2020. First, we're going to discuss how much the hay is costing. Secondly, we're going to discuss how much we feed a day. Thirdly, we're going to discuss how much we save, and then we'll put dollar signs to that. So based on a lot of feedback we're getting, let's say your hay is costing you roughly $100 a ton. In many cases it may be more, but let's just figure on $100. As you can easily figure out, $100 a ton is 5 cents a pound. Secondly, let's talk about how much hay we feed. In the northern climates, we tend to feed about 35 pounds per head per day. Again, there may be differences around the country, but let's just use that as a number for this example. Now, 35 pounds per head per day is pretty standard. And point 3 comes in, how much am I going to save per head per day as a result of using Riomax and the Nutrisorb science, which helps squeeze more out of every mouthful and helps you run more efficiently. What we see consistently is between 15 and 30% hay savings. In this example, I want to lean towards being more conservative, and I'm going to say let's assume that we achieve a 15% hay savings. So if I'm feeding 35 pounds and I'm able to save 15%, that equates to 5.25 pounds saved per head per day. Now let's do some numbers. $5.25 pounds saved per day times 5 cents, what we figured the value per pound, equates to 26.25 cents. Suddenly, you start seeing how the value of the hay saved can almost completely offset the cost of Riomax. Let's take it a step further. Based on the cost of Riomax before any volume discounts, you're going to see an average cost per head per day of 34 cents. Let's note that down. 34 cents subtract 26.25 cents equals 7.75 cents. So now that we've figured in the value of the hay savings and subtracted that off what the Riomax average cost per day is, we're left with a cost per head per day of 7.75 cents. Granted, this could be higher or it could be lower. If we had seen increased hay savings towards the high end, 30%, that number would have been much lower. Now comes the kicker. Many times people don't realize that the Riomax program is an A to Z mineral program, and when you're using the Riomax tub, you do not need to feed any mineral besides. So assume that you're feeding a middle of the road loose mineral through the winter. Typically that would cost around that 10 to 15 cent mark. Let's plug it in at 10. So I'm taking the daily cost less the value of what my loose mineral is costing me, and that leaves me with a total of 2.25 cents. This is not a cost, this is a profit. I am profiting as a result of using Riomax 2.25 cents per head per day, strictly due to the hay savings. This does not factor in any other benefits such as increased conception rates, tightened calving, better calving performance, better health in the calves, less treats, increased carrying capacity, so on and so forth. What I like to demonstrate is that there is a way to offset part or all of your daily Riomax cost. In fact, what I always say is, if Riomax can't earn its keep on your ranch, it more than likely doesn't have a place on your ranch. So what I'd really like you to do is watch the video below titled, How Does Nutrizorb Work? A visual demonstration, where it will be clearly demonstrated how we're achieving the what. We know we're achieving hay savings. This video will help you understand how we're accomplishing that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being on this exciting journey of helping ranchers squeeze more out of what they've already got and get more out of their existing resources. Thank you.